It is my birthday month, and that means I'm going to allow myself unlimited veto power. So let's see if we could build the best TBR to date. Hey guys, welcome back to another one. It is officially April, our April TBR, I guess I should say. And like I said in my intro, this is my birthday month. I am bored all the way at the end of April on April 30th. And because it is the month of my birth, I am going to go ahead and give myself unlimited skipping power. Meaning, if anything on this TBR comes up that I'm even this much not in the mood for, it's as though it never happened. We are going to say it's erroneous. We are not going to pay attention to it. We are going to respin. We're going to pick a new number. We're going to do whatever the heck I want because I am the birthday girl and that's the way it's gonna work this month because it's my channel. We all know I love a good cheat, so let's cheat our way to the best TBR ever. There's really not any changes to the game this month, but I did reorganize and move around a bunch of my books. I had to recount them, put them away, kind of like regroup them. So the shelves themselves are a little bit different. Not that there is any possible way I could remember all of these books, but the point remains. The shelves themselves are a little bit different. They're reorganized, they're renumbered. So that's really the only change. Everything else is going to remain the same. But before we get into that, let's talk about my reading month in March so we know what we're pulling for April. So if you watched last month's TBR for March, you know that we did 12 spins plus a buddy read plus our Homey and Homely book club read for a total of 14 books on my TBR last month. And this is the way my month ended up looking. Out of the 14 books that were on my TBR, I ended up reading 7 of them. That's not too bad because, as always, the goal every month is not to guarantee that I will get through my TBR. I want a little bit of wiggle room to leave me a little bit of space to mood read. So getting through 50% of my TBR isn't that bad for me. With that being said, I did read a total of 10 books in the month of March, which means we will be doing 10 regular spins and, as always, our 4 wild spins at the end. And we will be talking about our Homey and Homely book club read as we go along, because if there is a way that I can eke it into one of our prompts this month, I will also try to do that. So without further ado, let me find my iPad and we will do spin number 1. iPad obtained, and here is our wheel the exact way we left it at the end of March. So let's go ahead and randomize it and do our first spin. I'm not too nervous this month because I know I can veto whatever I'm not looking forward to. Shelf 22. I know the yellow is hard to read. Don't even jump down there in the comments. I see you. I know. Shelf number 22 is actually right here. Let me just shift my camera a little bit. Here we are at shelf number 22. This is a special edition shelf, so it has kind of like a bunch of different genres on it. It also has our little Ravenclaw raven on it, guarding my books. There are 34 books on this shelf, so hey Siri. Pick a number between 1 and 34.
The answer is 31.
31. I'm not going to make you wait for me to count all the way to 34. Let's count from the back. 34, 33, 32, 31. What is that one? Oh, 31 is I think this is the Fairy Loot edition. I'm not sure. I'll find out. But the Fairy Loot edition of These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan. YA fantasy. Am I going to veto this? I'm not. I actually don't know very much about this book, to be honest with you, but we will talk more about it at the end. We are off to a good start so far. We did not use a veto on spin 1, so let's go ahead and do spin 2. Come on, wild spins. Although the wild spins were not very kind to me last month. Our 25 and 25 wheel. All right, let's pull that up. Okay, if you have never seen our 25 and 25 wheel, here it is. In the beginning of every year, I make 25 books to read in 2025, and these books are more or less the books that I want to prioritize to get through before the end of the year. They're either books that have been on my shelf for a really long time, have been on multiple TBRs that I just haven't gotten to but want to, or books that I've heard a ton about and I want to make sure that I read them this year. So let's go ahead and randomize it and spin. I love getting this wheel because it helps me like knock some stuff off of my lists. Oh my gosh. The Lies We Steal. If you know, you know. This book has been on literally like 4 TBRs and I've just never prioritized it. And I've heard that The Hollow Boys, which is this book, is so good. So The Lies We Steal is going on yet another TBR. Is it actually going to be the month that I read it? All right, back here, let's do spin number 3. A color spin. This wheel is actually brand new. It came up, I believe, in one of our challenges this past month for the first time. I do not believe it's ever come up on a TBR before, which is so exciting. So here it is right here. It is exactly as it's described. It is just a wheel full of colors. We are going to spin this wheel. We'll randomize it first, but we'll spin this wheel. Then we have to come up with a book whose cover is at least 50% of the selected color. So first, let's go ahead and randomize and spin. I've gotten pink and I've gotten red, and those were pretty easy. Oh, silver / gray. Oh, that one's a little tougher. Silver / gray. I think we might have more luck with silver just off the top of my head, but as always, we pick our wild wheels at the end, or we pick our wild spins at the end. So let's go back and do spin number 4. This is going really well so far. It was so mean to me last month. Yes, I know so many of you are going to be happy about this. Let me pull up my character spin. Here it is. This is our character spin. For right now, the characters that we are going with are everything in the Harry Potter world. Now, that could change in the future, but for right now, we haven't even used close to any of these, to be honest with you. I think we've probably used a total of like 20 out of over, I think there's like 195 prompts on this wheel, so it will be Harry Potter for the near future, but I already have ideas for what else we could do in the future. So this character spin is around for a really long time, but there are, like I said, 195 characters, locations, objects, classes, all sorts of different things on this wheel. So let's spin and see what prompt we're going to get. It never gives us a good prompt ever. It always gives us the worst, but I can veto, so I'm not too nervous about it. Fluffy. Let's figure out what the fluffy prompt is, and then we will choose what we're doing with this. Okay, here it is, the fluffy prompt. Let's read it together. Fluffy, the 3-headed dog that Hagrid gives to Hogwarts to guard the trap door leading to the Philosopher's Stone. Read a book with a number in the title for Fluffy's 3 heads. Okay, that's actually not bad. Wait, that's actually not bad at all. Okay, I think we might keep this one. So we have to find a book with a number in the title. We could do that. Let us spin number, I think this is 5. 5 of 10, so we still have a lot to go. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? Shelf 10. Shelf 10, that is a fantasy shelf and it is in the other room, and you may want to get your earplugs ready because it's crazy angle time. It's crazy angle time. Do do do. So for anyone who's new here, you know that I film in my guest suite and my guest bed is right here. So there's not too much space between that and my bookshelf. So sometimes we got to make it work and there's crazy angles. This is your first experience of crazy angle time. Lucky you, lucky you. Okay, so this is shelf 10. Like I said, it is a fantasy shelf. This has all my Brandon Sanderson. It's obviously a little hard for you guys to see, but there are 27 books on this shelf. So, hey, Suri.
Mm-hmm.
Pick a number between 1 and 27.
A random number between 1 and 27 is 18.
18. Guys, I think that might be Brandon Sanderson. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. It isn't. Oh my gosh. Okay. Number 18 is actually Where Did You Go, which is book 3 in the Infatuated Fae series, which I obviously haven't read. So we are going to put book 1, which is How Does It Feel? I have been wanting to read this. Oh my God, that's so exciting. Okay, so this is definitely not a veto. Of course, on the month that I give myself unlimited vetoes, it's being relatively nice to me. That's just how this goes. So this is spin number 6. I could go for a few more wilds. You know what I'm saying? No, stay. I thought it was going to be a prop spin. Okay, shelf 24. That is right here. Let me just drop the camera. Okay, here we are at shelf 24. And like I said, this is a special edition shelf. So this kind of does have like a hodgepodge of genres on it. There's some romances in the corner, mostly fantasy, because most of my special editions are fantasy. But there are 38 books on this shelf. So, hey Siri.
Uh-huh.
Pick a number between 1 and 38.
A random number between 1 and 38 is 30.
30. Okay, so 38, 37, 36, 35, 34, 33, 32, 31, 30. Oh. Okay, number 30 is The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. This is the Fairy Loot edition. I've been wanting to read this book. Is April the month that I want to read it? I think for right now, we're going to keep it. We could always reevaluate that at the end. So like I was saying, would I have necessarily prioritized reading The Unmaking of June Farrow in April? Probably not. It feels more like a fall book to me, but it's still pretty gloomy out here. It's kind of like the beginning of spring. So I think it still is atmospherically okay, at least in my brain. But let's do spin number 7. I could go for a wild. Come on. Wild. A flip a coin. Ask and you shall receive. A flip a coin is something that we will do at the end because that requires me to pick 2 books and we flip a coin. So we will do that at the end. So let's jump right into spin number 8. Another wild. You could do it. Stop. A prompt spin. Yes, my favorite wheel. Let me find it. Here she is. This is my pride and joy, my baby. The wheel that took me the most amount of time to make. This is a wheel that has over 400, I believe, prompts on it that all came from this little brain. So without further ado, let's give her a spin. Actually, let's randomize her first. Can't tell, but it's randomized. Now let's give her a spin. Anything could come up. I don't even remember half the stuff that's on this wheel. Spin the emoji wheel. Okay, it's gonna kick me over to the emoji wheel, which, you know, the emoji wheel and I have a complicated relationship. Here she is. So this wheel has most of the emojis that are currently on the standard issue iPhones. Some of them I skipped. Some of them I just I don't think I did every single country's flag because I'm not going to have a book from, Uzbekistan. I just don't know of one. I'm sure there's fantastic books in Uzbekistan. I just don't have them on my shelves. So let's go ahead and randomize her and see what arbitrary random emoji it's going to give me that is always a challenge. What is it going to be? It never gives me easy ones. A firefighter. Okay, a firefighter emoji. We will once again find that at the end. So we now have the prompt spin, the sent us the emoji wheel for the firefighter, and a flip a coin. Okay, so I don't even know what spin we're on now. 9? I believe we're on 9. Another wild. It is being so nice to me for my birthday. It's a refreshing change because normally it is not this nice to me. Okay, author first and last. So here is our author first and last wheel. It's pretty self-explanatory. This has every letter of the alphabet on it. We have to randomize it and spin it. Whatever letter we get, we have to find an author with that first name. So I just randomized it and now let's spin it. Don't give me something crazy. Don't give me a Q. Author first name M. We could do that. Okay, flip a coin, firefighter emoji, author first name M. Let's go to our 10th, right? 10th spin. This is our last regular spin before our wild spins. Okay, lots of wilds this month. Is it gonna give me another one? A genre spin. Oh my goodness, it's being so nice to me. Okay. Here we go. Here's our genre spin wheel. Like I said, like the name implies, this is just a wheel with all the different genres on it. And as long as it does not give me mystery thriller Or what else don't I really want? I mean, I don't have much science fiction, so it's not that I couldn't find something. I just don't own a ton of science fiction. So preferably no mystery thriller, no science fiction. So let's randomize it and give it a spin. Please, please, please be nice. I can veto. I don't know why I get so nervous. Nonfiction. Surprisingly okay with that because there's a couple that I've really been wanting to read and I haven't had an excuse to read it. Okay, let me reset and we'll get into our wild spins. Okay, we are back to do our 4 wild spins. We do this every single month just to give me a little bit of wiggle room with some flexibility so that I can mood read. I am a primarily mood reader. I like to have a TBR just to kind of guide me into the direction of where I could go, but I like to mood read for the most part, and these ones give me just a couple of extra books to throw on my TBR that lets me mood read. So right here you have a wheel that has each of our wild spins on it times 2. They're both on there twice. So let's go ahead and randomize it and spin number 1 to see what wild wheel we're going to spin. That's a mouthful. Another prompt spin. Loving that already. Okay, prompt spin. Here we go. Let's do it again. The first one was cool. It sent us to another wheel, but let's see if it actually gives us a prompt this time. Animal in the title. Okay, so far we've gotten the character spin gave us a number in the title. Now we have an animal in the title. Okay, we'll pick that at the end. So let's go back and do wild spin number 2. Prompt animal in the title. What next? Another color spin. Okay, I'm not complaining about that. Here we go. You ready? We've already had a silver and gray, right? So let's see what it's going to give us now. Silver and gray and brown. Surprisingly not a book that's or a color that's often used in books I've found. Okay, so we have silver and gray and a brown color spin. I'm trying to think off the top of my head if I have one. I don't think so. All right, spin number 3. Prompt spin, animal in the title, color spin, brown. No way. A free pick. That just means I get to free pick any book to put on my TBR. I already know what I'm going to do. I think. Okay, I don't have to think about that yet. I think. Okay, free pick. Let's do spin number 4. And then we have a lot of books to find because it's been almost all wild spins. What's it going to be? I thought it was going to be another free pick. An emoji spin. Okay. Firefighter was a little interesting, but I don't think it was that bad. Let's see what it's going to give me now. Make it another decent one. Make it another decent one. What? The little orange, like, starburst? The little orange starburst. Okay. Not that I think I have to use a veto on this, but let's spin it one more time. I'm not officially vetoing. I just want to see if we could get something a little bit more specific. So let's spin one more time. If it's nothing better, we'll just stay with the little orange starburst. I'm sure I can come up with something. Oh, the little silly crazy guy. I don't want that one either. Third spin. It's my birthday. The little orange starburst is probably so far the one I would go with. Forget the other 2. They never happened. This is a little sparkly heart. We're going with this. The little sparkly heart for our last wild spin. We have so many wild spins to pick for this month. So according to my list, we have a book that is at least 50% silver or gray on the cover. We have to find a book with a number in the title. We have to flip a coin between 2 books. We have to find a book about or with a firefighter on the cover. We have to find a book with the author first name that begins with M. We have to find a nonfiction book, a book with an animal in the title, a book with at least 50% of its cover being brown, a book that encompasses the sparkly heart emoji, and a totally free pick. We're going to be here for a while. Okay, where do we start? Where do we start? Should we do our color spin picks first? So we have to find a silver gray book and a brown book. So like I said before, over 50% of the cover has to be that color. So let's go and find something. I'm on the first wild spin pick and I'm already exhausted. Why was that so hard? I have learned two things today. Not many authors do brown covers. That is one thing we learned. And when they do a gray or silver color, it's usually only the letters or like only one little detail. It was so difficult finding a 50% or greater gray cover, and brown was near impossible. There's really not many. Now, I only looked on my shelves. I didn't look on my Kindle because that would take us literal years. But let's talk about the few brown covers we found first. In my entire collection, on my 28 separate shelves, I found 3 books that I think count as brown. 3. So the first book I grabbed is A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher. Now, this is funny because if you watched my last haul video, this is one of the special editions I got in the last few months from, I think this is a Page and Wick edition, I'm pretty sure. And I actually complained about this book in that video because when I got this, I was so disappointed in it for a multitude of reasons. First of all, it's B format, which means it's a small special edition. Second of all, it's just plain. It's brown. I just talked about opening up the book box and just taking this out and going, really? Like, to me, this is nothing special. It's boring. And it's just like brown sprayed edges and like brown drab cover art, if I don't rip it. Brown drab. Just the whole thing is very monochromatic and boring to me. Of everything they could have done with the special edition of this book, I was very disappointed in this edition. However, by some weird coincidence, we spun for a brown cover this month, so I guess it ends up working out. I could also go with Crown of Midnight, which is book, well, it's technically book 2 in the Throne of Glass series, but this will be book 3 for me because I read Assassin's Blade first, and I know what you guys are going to say. This is like orangey yellow. However, I am going to let myself have this because Queen of Midnight, which is the 4th book, is red and yellow. So I think this is like brown and orange, and we're working with limited books here, so I'm going to let myself count this. And then the last book I grabbed is Alex Approximately by Jen Bennett. I don't know much about this book, and this book has been on my shelves for literal years. It says the one guy Bailey Rydell can't stand is actually the boy of her dreams. She just doesn't know it yet. I'm pretty sure this is a YA romance. So looking at my 3 options, right off the top, I'm going to eliminate Alex Approximately. I'm not in the mood for a YA romance. That was kind of like the outlier anyways. So my choice is between A Sorceress Comes to Call and Crown of Midnight. And this gets tricky for me because Crown of Midnight is on my 25 and 25 list, and I should make some progress in Throne of Glass because I can already feel myself forgetting a lot of the details from the first 2 because it's been a few months between books. But I really think that I would prefer to read A Sorceress Comes to Call. It would be my first T. Kingfisher. It's cute, it's short, it's little. But I'm going to be good, and I'm going to go with Crown of Midnight, not only because I don't want to screw myself and forget a bunch of the details, but also because I do want to make progress in Throne of Glass, and I could always pick up A Sorceress Comes to Call in the fall because it's kind of like a spooky gothic book. So Crown of Midnight is officially going on our April list for our book with 50% cover brown. And now let's talk about the 1, 2, 3, 4 books I found that are gray/silver. And I'm going to tell you right now, give me some grace on these because like I said, I found and discovered during my search that silver and gray is a color that most authors use for lettering and accent colors. There's very few completely silver or completely gray covers, so I worked with what I could. The first book is the one that I think counts the least because it's definitely not 50%, but I kind of really want an excuse to try to work it on the list. And that is Blood of Hercules by Jasmine Moss. Guys, let me get my face out of here. There is no way that this is 50% gray. I really don't think it is. I'll put up a better cover here if I could find it. There is gray on it, once again, with the accents with the vines, but I don't think it's over 50%. So keep that in mind. I don't know much about this. I think it's just it's like a Hercules. I don't know if it's a retelling. It says, I'm just a girl, and as it turns out, I'm Hercules. I'm struggling to survive in a Titan-infested world where Spartans, immortals from 12 royal families who have godlike powers and obscene wealth, rule over all. A shy, stammering foster child with nothing, I keep my head down, cover my scars, and focus on excelling in school. At least I try to. Then it happens. My blood test reveals I'm part of the powerful elite. I'm one of them, a Spartan. Forced to attend the Spartan War Academy, I undergo the most harrowing test of all time to see if I have what it takes to be an immortal. There's just a few problems. Achilles and Patro are my scary mentors. Charon, the ferryman of death, and Augustus, the son of war, are my terrifying professors. Also, I'm pretty sure either someone's stalking me everywhere I go, or my sanity is slipping. I have a bad feeling both are true. I'm surrounded by villains and they're smothering me with their hate, obsession, and dark possessiveness. Too bad for them, they have no clue just who they're messing with. Okay. Interesting. I don't know if it counts, but let's see. Also, getting a little creative, I grabbed Quicksilver by Callie Hart. Now, if you look here, that is all gray. And if you go further down the sides, those are shadows, which are dark gray. And if you look at his face, it is a form of gray. It's a hue of gray. So I think overwhelmingly it counts. Plus, the lettering is in silver and silver is in the title. So I think it counts. However, this book is an absolute brick. This is really, really long, and I don't really want to know much about what happens in this book. This book has gotten some viral fame on Bookstagram and BookTok and BookTube and things like that, and I've purposely avoided knowing what it's about because I've heard it's best to go into this blind. However, there's a caveat to that because picking up a 600-page book with absolutely no idea what's in it is a huge risk. I also grabbed Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. The snow, what I'm assuming is the snow on the trees, and also this building is gray. Is it 50%? I don't know. We're working with it. I know nothing about this book other than it's a mystery thriller about a woman who has, is it amnesia, I believe? Or she's face blind? I don't know what it is, but I don't really like knowing much about my mystery thrillers because if you go into knowing the entire plot, then it's not mysterious or thrilling. And that is why I think most thrillers are a flop to me because I go into it knowing too much. So I know that Alice Feeney is a really beloved mystery thriller writer, so maybe switch up the genres a little bit this month on my list. And last but not least, I picked up The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson. This is another mystery thriller, but I've heard really great things about his writing and a lot of people like this book. So even though mystery thrillers aren't usually my cup of tea, I've heard this one reads very quickly. So I think I could kind of throw my way through it. I think this is about a man who meets someone on a plane and plot a murder while they're flying. I'm pretty sure. So looking at our 4 options, God, what do I do? I think the first one I'm going to eliminate is Rock, Paper, Scissors. Kind of a shock to no one. All right, you know what? Let's just be real. Let's also knock off The Kind Worth Killing. I don't want to read a mystery thriller for my birthday month. It's my least favorite genre, and it's just not calling to me. So I'm between Blood of Hercules and Quicksilver. And I think this is kind of an easy decision because I honestly think Quicksilver fits the prompt the best. Not only is it a primarily gray cover, but silver writing and silver in the title. I think if we're going to get a gray silver prompt, it's calling for me to read this. So Quicksilver is going on our April TBR, but this thing is so long and so intimidating. Next up, looking at our list, I think the next easiest one to knock off would probably be our genre spin, which is finding a nonfiction book. I don't have too many nonfictions on my shelves or on my Kindle, so I think this one will only be choosing between a select few. So this one I should be able to figure out pretty fast. Actually, that went a lot faster than I thought it was going to go because I actually know what I want to read. I'm going to put Dinner for Vampires on our April TBR. This is by Bethany Joy Lenz. I believe she was on One Tree Hill. And fun fact about me, I have never seen One Tree Hill. I've never seen it. I was like a Gilmore Girl generation. I don't think by the time One Tree Hill came around that I think I was kind of past it, but I never watched this. However, what we didn't know was that while she was filming One Tree Hill, she was actually escaping a cult, and I need to know all about it because I'm fascinated by cult culture. Next up, let's search my shelves for an author with the first name M. and see what we can find. So as expected, it was actually pretty easy to find an author with the first name M on my shelves. That's a pretty common letter. However, whether or not I wanted to read that this month was actually the bigger issue. So after exhaustively searching my shelves and my Kindle, I have come up with 3 options, 2 of them on my shelves and 1 on my Kindle. So let's talk about my options. The first book I grabbed is the cult favorite Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. I have wanted to get into this for so long, and I just for some reason haven't been able to prioritize it. So this is about a boy named Archer who does not talk and the girl who I believe falls in love with him. I also grabbed another one of my Fairy Loot Romantasy editions. This is A Curse of Blood and Wolves by Melissa McTurnan. Once again, know very little about this, but this is an absolutely stunning edition, and I do believe it has wolf shifters. And last but not least, on my Kindle, I have Irresistible by Melanie Harlow. Melanie Harlow is a romance author that I've been wanting to try my hand at. I know she just traditionally published a couple other editions. I saw them in Barnes & Noble and I came about that close to picking them up, but I already own them on my Kindle, so I resisted. I don't know what this is about. I think this is book 1 of 5 in the Cloverleaf Farm series, and it says it's a small town single dad romance. I'm a full-time single dad to 3 daughters and CFO at Cloverleaf Farms. I don't have time to fall in love. I'm too busy trying to run a business, keep the red socks out of the white laundry, and get the damn pillowcases on without owing $1 to the swear jar. That's funny. Sure, Franny Sawyer is beautiful and sweet, but she's 27, the boss's daughter, and my new part-time nanny. Oh, so it's going to be like a single dad nanny romance, and I've heard great things about Melanie Harlow's writing. Okay, so looking at my 3 options, this one's a tough one because I do actually want to read all 3 of these. So let me grab the rest of my list and see what the rest of our options are looking like. So as of right now, we have quite a few fantasies, but one thing I'm noticing is it's not very smutty fantasy. There's like some YA, well, I guess a little bit. Unmaking of June Farrow is cozy. I don't know what is going on upstairs. But if you have boys, you know it always sounds like there's a herd of elephants running around above you, so I have no idea. And then we have Crown of Midnight, which is YA. Okay. But we also don't have very many romance either. So what do I do? All right, let's just pick the one that I'm going to eliminate first. I'm going to eliminate Irresistible by Melanie Harlow. Even though I really want to get into it, I think there's others that I should prioritize before this one. So we're between A Curse of Blood and Wolves, and Archer's Voice. This is tough, but I think I'm going to go with Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan because there may be another prompt coming up that I might be able to squeeze A Curse of Blood and Wolves on. So if we're being strategic, this is a book that's on my 25 and 25 list, I do believe. I could be wrong. And also a book I've been really wanting to read. So author first name M, Mia Sheridan, Archer's Voice is going on the TBR for April. Next up, I've decided to go for our character prompt. We got Fluffy the 3-headed dog, and we have to find a book with a number in the title. So I'm going to go find as many options as I can. Back again, and I found 6 options, 4 on my shelves and 2 on my Kindle. So the first book for the number in the title is 6 Scorched Roses by Carissa Broadbent. This is the novella between books 1 and 2 in the Crowns of Nyaxia series. I read books 1, which is The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and didn't love it. It was okay. Hoping I love her writing style. It was decent, but I wasn't totally in love with it. This is a little like, how many pages? 180 page novella that actually follows a different main female character, I believe. And I've actually heard some people say that they like 6 Scorched Roses more than Serpent of the Wings of Night. So I am intrigued. I am going to continue with the series, and this might be kind of like the be all and end all of whether or not I continue. I also grabbed The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This is of huge acclaim on BookTube. People have loved this book. I know that this is about a girl who inherits her aunt's apartment and then seems to be able to slip 7 years in the past and 7 years in the future, I believe. I don't know much more about it, but heard great things. I also got Two Crested Crowns by Rachel Gillig. This is book 2. I don't know what the series name, The Shepherd King. So this is book 2 in the Shepherd King series after One Dark Window. I really liked One Dark Window. I felt some stylistic choices were a little odd, but the magic system in One Dark Window is one of the coolest I've literally ever read, so it definitely made up for it. Next up, I grabbed the one, the only Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. I want to get into this book so badly. However, I'm actually kind of intimidated by how much I think I'm going to love this series because I'm already pretty invested in Zodiac Academy, which is a long series. And if I get as invested in this, can I obsess about 2 series at the same time? I don't know. But this book is so long and the writing is so tiny. I don't know. I also grabbed 9 Month Contract by Amy Dawes. It says it's a hilarious farming rom-com of a grumpy mountain man and the surrogate for his child. Here's one thing that sold me. When you scroll down looking at the info on this book, it says, one of me is cute, but 2 though. So if you are a fellow Sabrina Carpenter fan, comment the song that's from in the comments below and we can be besties. It also says that this book is spicy, grumpy sunshine, and age gap. Sticking to the spicy theme, I could also go 5 Brothers by Penelope Douglas. This past month I did read Credence by Penelope Douglas and I actually am judging myself a little bit about how much I enjoyed it. It is spicy erotica and this is no different. It says, one woman learns the secret of the 5 Yeager brothers in the new romance from Penelope Douglas. If you know anything about Penelope's writing, this is probably just going to be erotica. Okay, here are my 6 options. Let's make our initial cuts, which are usually the quickest. So right off the bat, I'm going to eliminate 6 Scorched Roses. There's just other ones on this list that I want to read more. For that reason, I think I'm also going to eliminate 2 Twisted Crowns. It's just of the 6, not the one that's calling to me the most. So we have the 7-Year Slip, Binding 13, 5 Brothers, and 9 Month Contract. Okay, I still have spicy brain going on, which means that my brain is just calling for all spicy books. So I think I'm going to eliminate 7-Year Slip as well. Oh my gosh, now we're between Binding 13, which I'm pretty sure is classified as new adult, but I've heard it kind of runs the line of like emotional trauma that should go adult. And then 9 Month Contract and 5 Brothers. What do I do? What do I do? I want to read all of these. Okay, I think I'm going to eliminate 5 Brothers. And now I'm between Binding 13 and 9 Month Contract. What do I do? Okay. I'm going to go with 9 Month Contract. I want to read Binding 13, but I'm in the middle of so many series right now. I just don't want to start another 7 or 8 book series. So I think this is the smarter move. Just because this one has already gotten me a little stumped, let's attempt to do our emoji prompt with the firefighter emoji because what am I going to do with that? For me, I'm almost positive there's nothing on my shelves that will have the firefighter emoji in it. There may be one, I have to go check. I'm pretty sure this is going to have to be a Kindle find, maybe even like a Kindle Unlimited find. But this is also making me realize that I don't read a ton of firefighter books. So if you have a book that you've loved that features firefighters, spam them in the comments down below because I'm open. Okay, we have an update. As I expected, I didn't have much, but I did manage to find 2 firefighter romances on my Kindle, and they were these 2 books right here. However, I don't want to read either of them. And this was supposed to be like the ultimate birthday month TBR. So I think I'm going to respin the emoji wheel and see if I could get something better. So let's try to get something better than the firefighter. This is hard. The emoji wheel is a tough one, but I don't want to read either of those books. A kangaroo. A kangaroo? Okay, we're respinning. A kangaroo? I don't even know what I would do with that. Okay, we're respinning. Up. We're respinning. A spoon. You know what? I don't want to do any of these. My birthday TBR, we're respinning a wild spin. I don't want to read any of those. So let's just get something else, okay? Because I don't want to do any of those. Okay, we're going to do a book box spin instead. So if you have not seen this, this is my wheel of all the book boxes that I have been a part of in the past, and they are just sitting on my special edition shelves, not being read, and I should read them because I paid for them. So let's randomize this and spin. If it gives me like an Alubicrate or a Fairy Loot, stop. Afterlight. Okay, I can work with Afterlight. Hold on, I will be right back. As it turns out, I didn't even have to look that hard because there was a book that made it onto my TBR randomly a couple of months ago, and I didn't get to it, but I wanted to because I absolutely refuse to believe that I just don't like this author. And that is Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey. This is a spicy golf romance, and like I've said several times, I've read many books by Tessa Bailey, and I've only liked 2 out of the ones that I've read. I just don't think I like her main female characters. I find them annoying overwhelmingly. However, for some reason, this book is intriguing me. So for my Afterlight special edition book box pick, I'm going with Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey. And how cute is this edition? Adorable. Okay, what do we have left? Prompt, animal in the title. Let's do that one. Let's do our animal in the title prompt. I had quite a few options for animal in the title. However, I came up with 1, 2, 3 on my shelves and 1 on my Kindle. So let's talk about them. The first book I grabbed for animal in the title was Beartown by Frederick Bachman. Here's the thing. I want to read this book. I want to get into Frederick Bachman. However, is the month of my birthday the month where I want to read this and cry my eyes out? Because I think that's what's going to happen. And I am not a reader, like a super emotional reader. However, every single person I've seen read this book has bawled their eyes out. It says, this is about a tiny community deep in the forest that sees an unimaginable tragedy, and they basically rely on the morale of their hockey team, I believe, to bring them up. But I have heard that this is so sad. Like I said before, I'm also going to use this as an opportunity to throw A Curse of Blood and Wolves as another option here, because wolves, there is an animal in the title. Like I said, I want to read this. It's like a spicy romantasy that I got in our Fairy Loot box, and I want to read this. So this might be the opportunity. However, I'm being tempted away by Kiss of the Basilisk. This was sent to me by Cheyenne. Thank you so much again, Cheyenne. And she knows my taste because, am I cheating a little with this? Yes. Is a basilisk an animal? I think it is. It's not a plant. It's an animal. It's just kind of like a mythical creature animal, right? But a basilisk is an animal. It's like a snake thing, right? So I'm going to go ahead and count this. I want to read this. I have heard amazing things as far as like spice content. I don't want to know too much, but it says, Tem couldn't imagine a stranger duo, the formidable basilisk and the human prince, both powerful in their own right, but they couldn't be more different from each other. I've heard that this goes some seriously unhinged places, and that has me written all over it. And last but not least, I could go with Bull Rush by Maggie Rawdon. I don't know very much about this either. It says, still married. Those words change everything. Now my should-be ex-husband, Ramsey Stockton, the former pro football star turned felon and hero who left this town and me behind years ago, is at my door offering me a deal with the devil. If I let him stay and play his wife again for 90 days, he'll give me a quiet divorce and his family ranch, the one my inn is on. When I scoff at the idea, he offers $1 million bonus to help my business float through this rough patch, but only if I'm his. Then he'll walk away and I can walk down the aisle with my fiance. Or I can say no and watch everything I worked so hard for fall apart. There's only one answer I can afford to give him, but he knows everything about me, every hurt, every secret, and every single weakness I have, including him. While Ramsey might want me, his brothers want him back in the family business. If there's one universal truth in this town, it's that Stockton men stop at nothing to get what they want. I saw this as a recommendation from another booktuber. I think it was like on her Instagram. I forget exactly who it was, but she gave this 5 stars and now I'm super intrigued. Okay, so staring at our 4 options. As much as I want to read Beartown, I'm going to eliminate it because, like I said, I don't think I want to spend my birthday month crying my eyeballs out. So I'm going to go ahead and eliminate Beartown. I also think I'm going to eliminate A Curse of Blood and Wolves because the other two are just calling to me more this month. So I guess the question becomes, do I want to read a basilisk romantasy or a felon ex-husband spicy romance? I think I'm going to go with Bull Rush, not because I don't want to read this, but because I think I'm going to try to film another challenge this month that I could squeeze this into. So I'm playing the long strategy game here. Therefore, Bull Rush is going on our April TBR as our animal in the title prompt. I only have 3 left. I have our flip a coin, my sparkly heart emoji pick, and my free pick. So let's do the sparkly heart emoji pick. I actually ended up looking for literally like 30 seconds because the first book I saw on my shelves is the one that I decided I was going to go with automatically, and that is Hopeless by Elsie Silver. This is book 5 in the Chestnut Spring series, so not only would I be finishing up this series by Elsie Silver by reading this book, but they're some of my favorite romances of all time. So when I think of the sparkly heart emoji, I think of my favorite sparkly little romances, and she writes them. So we are going to put Hopeless by Elsie Silver on the TBR. Next up, we're going to do flip a coin. I'm going to pick 2 books, and then we are going to flip a coin to pick between the 2. However, we have a special little assistant who wants to flip the coin. You look grubby. Somebody had a baseball game today and did awesome, so he's looking a little grubby, but you're going to flip my coin? Okay, so I'm going to pick 2 books, and then you're going to get to flip the coin that picks them.
What if I pick 2 books?
You want to pick 2 books? No. But see, here's the thing. You're going to intentionally pick books that I don't like.
No.
And this is my April TBR, which is supposed to be only books that I want to read.
Tell me a genre and tell me a series that you like.
Okay, I could do that. I could give you some options. Okay? All right, hold on. Okay, so here is what we put our smart little brains together and decided, you are off camera, and decided to do. He also wants to pick the books and flip the coin. So I came up with 2 romantasy options and 2 romance options. I'm going to tell him a little bit about each of the options, then he can pick which 2 he wants to flip the coin between. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, so the first one I picked is Zodiac Academy, Ruthless Fae. This is book 2 in the Zodiac Academy series.
Have you read book 1?
I did. It's right there. Actually, I read it this past month. So I'm going to give you like a 2-sentence synopsis. Ready? This is about 2 twin sisters who find out that they are the heirs to the throne of a magical land, but in order to inherit the land, they have to go to an academy called the Zodiac Academy. However, when they get there, they find out that there are 4 heirs to the throne currently ruling the land, and they fight them to try to gain control over the land. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So this is book 2. I also grabbed Of Wings and Blood by Briar Lynn. This is book 1 in the Bloodwing Academy series. So just give them like 2 sentences. Nope, back. Just give them like 2, like read it and give them like 2 sentences of what it's about because I have no clue. This was a gift from a subscriber, by the way.
I'm Medra Pendragon, last of the dragon riders, or so they tell me. Funny thing is, there are no dragons left, not a single one, but somehow that hasn't stopped the vampires from deciding I'm worth capturing. Now I'm stuck at Bloodwing Academy where the High Bloods run everywhere, and Blightborn, like me, were just blood in their veins, pawns in their games.
Okay, so dragon riders, vampires at a magical academy. Okay. Then I also grabbed Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. This is a high school rugby romance. So he's a rugby player in high school. I think it's in Ireland, I believe it's set. And it's very romantic, I've heard.
Okay, so that's good.
It says he wants to save her, she wants to hide, she's damaged, he's determined.
Okay, so let me see that one. That one's not being picked.
That one's not being picked.
It has
Okay.
rugby in it.
This is Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home. This is book 3 in the Magnolia Park series. I loved the first 2. Have you ever heard of the show Gossip Girl? Okay, like think rich, toxic drama that takes place in London. All of these characters are super rich and they're basically just really gossipy.
It looks like a kid's book.
I know the covers do kind of look like kids' books on these ones. And this is about the main female character, Magnolia Parks. That's why it's called that. There's going to be nothing on the inside, yeah. It's just rich, toxic drama in London.
Wear it like a badge of honor forever that he loved me first, that he loved me at all. Have you ever had a love like
That's like an iconic line in that book. So you already eliminated Binding 13. That's a no. So of these three, of On Wings of Blood, Zodiac Academy, Ruthless Fae, and the Magnolia Parks The Long Way Home, which do you want to flip between?
So this one,
The dragons and the vampires?
this one sounds good, but what I'm weird out about is there's so many different things going on
Okay.
that honestly I don't think that they could cover that much in 500 pages.
Oh,
And
so you think there'll be
three-
plot holes?
Yeah, like in 3 different major, like, Last of the Dragon Riders, that'll have to be at least 200 pages getting up to the plot where...
So you think there'll be plot holes?
Yeah.
Now, the good news is I'm pretty sure this is or going to be a series. So there's multiple books. So maybe they'll be able to fit those. And then these
This one,
toxic rich people drama.
see, since it's all about one character, I think it's gonna get...
It's not. It's actually about multiple characters. This just the main character is Magnolia Parks in this one.
Alright.
There's Magnolia Parks, there's BJ Ballantyne, there's Julian Hates, there's Daisy Hates.
I feel like I've heard that name.
Yeah, I've probably talked about it because I loved the first two.
Alright, so this one I've seen you read.
I read that one last month, yeah.
I've seen you been reading this. Mm-hmm. And I've seen you liked it.
I did really like it. I've read in this series, these two series before and loved them. I've never read anything by Briar Boleyn, but I've heard she's really good.
Then why not read the second ones?
You wanted flip for the second? This is the third. But okay, so we are going to flip between Zodiac Academy, Ruthless Fae, and Magnolia Parks The Long Way Home. Okay, so the first thing you have to decide when you're flipping between these two is which one is going to be heads and which one is going to be tails. So what's Magnolia Parks going to be?
Tails.
So Magnolia Parks is going to be tails, and Ruthless Academy is going to be heads? Or Ruthless Fae is going to be heads? Tails, heads?
Yeah.
Okay, so show your quarter. You're going to flip it, catch it in your hand, and then show them.
Oh!
That was silly. All right, show the camera what it is.
Tails.
Tails! So it was Magnolia Parks, right?
Yeah.
Magnolia Parks, The Long Way Home. High five. With the help of our little assistant, we have officially put Magnolia Parks The Long Way Home on our April TBR for our Flip-A-Coin. Which means all I have left is my free pick. This is going to be the hardest of all. But honestly, I think I kind of already did it. Because when I was going through my shelves picking the books for my Flip-A-Coin, I kind of got to free pick what I wanted. Because if I picked all books that I wanted, no matter what I got for my Flip-A-Coin, I'd be happy. So I'm going to choose one of the ones Cole didn't for my free pick. So I could go On Wings of Blood or Ruthless Fae. It's Ruthless Fae. I said when I finished Zodiac Academy The Awakening that I was going to do everything in my power to make sure that I got Ruthless Fae on my TBR for April because I am so amped on the Zodiac Academy series. Right now, I loved book 1, so I just want to continue while it's fresh in my brain. So Ruthless Fae, Zodiac Academy 2 is going on our TBR as our free pick. And just like that, we have selected all of the books that are going to go onto our April TBR. Let's do a quick recap and talk about what book we chose in the Homey and Homely Book Club for the month of April. So in the month of April, we have 14 total books on our TBR plus 1 book for Homey and Homely. Let's talk about which ones we selected. Spin 1 sent us over to Shelf 22 and selected These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan. Like I said, I don't know much about this. It does say a heart is a dangerous thing to seal. I'm pretty sure this is YA. It says the king was right about one thing. I am a great thief. I can steal just about anything, but a fairy prince's heart, I wouldn't know where to start. So a little YA fantasy romance. Spin number 2 had us spin our 25 and 25 wheel, and we got The Lies We Steal by Monty J. This is another dark academia, gothic, kind of like dark romance, I believe. It's been on so many TBRs and it's absolutely unacceptable that I haven't read it yet, so I am going to try to prioritize this one in April. The next spin had us spin the color wheel, and we got the silver/gray color, and I went with Quick Silver by Callie Hart. Like I said, I want to go into this relatively blind, but I do know this is a spicy romantasy. I know that our main male character's name is Kingfisher, which is a little weird, and I know it takes place in a desert, I believe, where our main female character has been stealing water from the Queen's reserves, but besides for that, I don't know much more about it, but I've heard great things. Our next spin had us spin our Harry Potter character wheel, and we got Fluffy the three-headed dog and had to choose a book with a number in the title, and we are going with The 9-Month Contract by Amy Dawes. Spicy mountain man surrogacy romance. Spin number 5 sent us to shelf 10, and we got the first book in the Infatuated Fae series, which is How Does It Feel by Janine O'Reilly. It says a forbidden obsession, unyielding family allegiance, 3 deadly challenges. Oh, so it's going to be like a Deadly Games romantasy. Okay, spin number 6 was a little bit of a wild card. It sent us over to shelf 24, and we got The Unmaking of June Farrow. Like I said, it's not worth a veto because I do want to read this. Does it scream an April book to me? Not really. Like, even the color palette of this kind of screams like fall, but I do want to read this. I want to get into Adrienne Young's writing, so I'm not going to veto it, but I think this is more of like a slower, cozier book. It says, in the small mountain town of Jasper, North Carolina, June Farrow is waiting for fate to find her. The Farrow women are known for their thriving flower farm and the mysterious curse that has haunted them for generations. A flower farm. Okay, maybe this is better for April because that seems very spring to me. But is this not a very like autumnal color palette? Once again, maybe like a design choice that I just kind of don't understand. But okay, so they run a flower farm. And a mysterious curse that has haunted them for generations. The madness that led to Susanna Farrow's disappearance left her daughter June to be raised by her grandmother. Everyone in Jasper is certain it's only a matter of time before she finds the same end, but June has kept secret that her unraveling has already begun. After her grandmother's death, June follows a series of clues that link her mother's disappearance to the town's dark history, leading finally to a mysterious door. Behind it may lay the answer to the mysteries that have always lingered like a dark shadow. Upon crossing the threshold, June embarks on a journey that will not only change both the past and the future, but entangle her fate and her heart in a star-crossed love. I'm kind of loving the character art in this edition though, so that makes me a little bit more excited. Okay, it is kind of screaming spring now, but I think they were way off the mark in this design decision. Next up, we had to flip a coin, and our fabulous little helper Cole helped select Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home. Like I said in the description, this is book 3 in the Magnolia Parks universe, and we are back with my girl Magnolia. I love Daisy, don't get me wrong, but I think I'm a Magnolia girl, and I think I'm a BJ Ballantine girl, so I'm excited to get back into this. Spin number 8 was a wee complicated because this was one where we cheated a little. It originally had me spin the prompt wheel, which had me spin the emoji wheel, which gave me the firefighter emoji. I went through everything, found 2 firefighter books, but did not want to read them, so I respun, got the book box spin. It told me to pick an Afterlight book, and we settled on Fangirl Down. It took a lot to get us there, but we got there. Like I said, spicy golf romance, and this may be the book, if I really end up hating it, that I may just have to accept that Tessa Bailey might not be the author for me. But hopefully I love it, and that's not a problem. Then I got the author first and last wheel, and we spun for an author first name M, and I chose Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. This book has booktube by the throat, and it's crazy that I have not read it. I'm so excited to get into it. I've heard it's sad and romantic, and I can't wait to read it. Next up, we spun the genre wheel and we got nonfiction, and I'm going to go with Dinner for Vampires. I am so excited to read this, not only because it has all of my favorite things, pop culture, but it also has cult culture, and I am into that. If you tell me that something involves a cult, it's going to interest me. I was actually laying in bed the other night watching Escaping the Cult documentaries, and I was sucked in. There is something about a cult that just fascinates me, and the fact that Bethany Joy Lenz was in a cult while she was working in Hollywood, I want to know everything about it. Our first wild spin then selected the prompt wheel, which gave us the prompt animal in the title, and we are going to go for Bulrush. This is a spicy nanny romance, and I've heard really great things about it. Our second Wild Spin gave us a free pick, and I'm going to take this opportunity to put Zodiac Academy 2, Ruthless Fae on the list. I'm so excited to continue on. I loved The Awakening Book 1, and I am not going to let myself forget details like I did with Throne of Glass. So I am going to take every opportunity in the next few months to progress in Zodiac Academy anywhere I can, and I cannot wait. This may have to be my first book of the month. We then spun our color spin again and got the color brown, which turned out to be so difficult because there are not very many brown books. And I'm going with Crown of Midnight, which I am reading as book 3 in Throne of Glass. I have to admit, don't shoot the messenger, but I have to admit I did not absolutely love Throne of Glass. I actually preferred Assassin's Blade to the first book, Throne of Glass. So I'm hoping you guys are all right when you tell me that you just got to kind of get through the first couple of books to get further into the series, but I don't have high hopes for Crown of Midnight either, but we'll see. We'll see. Next up, I spun the emoji wheel again, and it gave me this little sparkly heart, and I went with Hopeless for a sparkly romance because they're some of my favorite romances. These are cowboy romance, ranch romances, and I love Elsie Silver's writing. They read so quickly for me, and I've loved every single one. My favorite one so far has been Reckless because if you know, Theo Silva. So I'm gonna see if this could be a new favorite in the Chestnut Spring series. This is Bo Eaton's book. It says, Bo Eaton is the town prince, a handsome military hero with a tortured past. I'm the outcast bartender, a shy girl from the wrong side of the tracks. I'm already into it. So those were our 14 books we're putting on our TBR, but we have one book left to discuss. If you do not know, I run a completely free book club over on the Fable Book app. There are about 415 members in it currently, and we select a book to read together every single month. I break it down by the chapter and we discuss by the chapter as we go, and it is such a fun way to all read together and also to interact with you guys. So we put up a poll and we all voted for our April book, and we have chosen The Favorites by Lane Fargo. I am so excited to read this. So a little fun fact about Lindsay, some Lindsay lore, if you will. I figure skated and was on a figure skating team for most of my life. I love figure skating. I could watch Olympic figure skating endlessly. And this is a figure skating romance. I am so excited to read it. I've heard it's toxic and dramatic and just fun, and anything that includes figure skating is going to interest me. So we will be reading The Favorites together. Our book club is always linked down in the description below. Like I said, it's completely free. It's totally just for fun. So if you want to join and read The Favorites along with us in April, click on the link below, and I can't wait to read with you. So there you have it, guys. That is our total TBR for my birthday month of April. If you have made it this whole way, comment the Taurus Zodiac emoji, not only for Zodiac Academy, but also because I am a proud Taurus. I don't know anything about the Zodiac, but I'm told I'm a Taurus. So comment that for my birthday month, and then do all the things that you are so professional at doing, like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye, guys.